So, at least at the time of this recording, Los Angeles is still struggling with fires. It seems like things are starting to get under control, and hopefully by the time this airs, that is still the case. But there's just still a lot of destruction, heartache, and wondering where we all go to next. There's been a lot of misconceptions and conspiracy theories thrown around that either the fires were caused on purpose or that it's only rich people that are being affected by this. But the reality is that there are all kinds of people who have been caught up in this tragedy, people inside and outside of the film industry. I remember when I lived in Chicago, my perception of Los Angeles was what I came to know as Hollywood, where the Walk of Fame is, and like the Chinese Theater and the beach. I thought that was it. Like there was the beach and there was Hollywood, and that was it. But when you come here, you realize that it is a very large city. The best way that I can describe it is if you took New York and flattened it almost across the entire East Coast. It is that large and diverse. So there are all kinds of people here. I mean, obviously there are people who come here to work inside of the film industry and lots of other different types of creatives, but there are, just like any city, there are working class people, middle class people, tech people, people that work for the city, people that work as nurses, doctors, garbage men, bus drivers, all different kinds of people. Either they've made this place their home or they were born here and they just can't imagine going anywhere else. And they have dreams like the rest of America. They want to find a community they can belong to, find friends, start a family. And for a lot of them, that is gone. I'm also hearing a lot of people saying that somehow we deserve this, or we have lessons to learn from the way that the city is run, or, the politicians that we voted for. This is a natural disaster. This is something that just happened, and it was outside of our control. There's obviously things we could have done to mitigate it, but what they say about hindsight being 2020, none of that really matters right now. It's here. It happened. And for a lot of us, we saw what we had worked our entire lives for snatched up in an instant. People think that a house is just a collection of things, that all it is a place where you put your stuff, and that's all that matters. But a house is more than that. Even if you don't own your own house, a house is the place where little bits and pieces of yourself rest. I remember when my father died, I was going through all of his belongings, and I would just find little bits and pieces of things that I didn't even know were there that made me understand him even more. And now for a lot of people, all that is gone. All those memories are gone, which represents just fragments in time that really meant something. And I think we should all hope that that is something that none of us ever have to go through. And if we do have to go through it, I can't say that I'm just watching how the city is coming together in a way. Your friends are checking out friends, neighbors, people are reaching out to me. I'm reaching out to other people to see how I can help, which sometimes there's not much you can do, but just being able to reach out to somebody and say, hey, I'm here for you if you need me, means a lot, even if there's nothing that you can actually physically do, at least not yet. There, of course, will be time after the fire is over, completely over, when they've contained it all, that we will have to get active, that we will have to pick up a shovel, get in our car, deliver something, and just start helping to rebuild. And it will take a while. What this means for the film industry or for any of that, I really have no idea. I mean, it was already in kind of a rough spot and a spot of transition as far as the people who actually work in the industry, not the executives, but the people who actually do the labor. Whether this means that a lot of companies pack up shop and go somewhere else, or whether they decide that they need to be here, I don't know. I know a lot of people are thinking whether this place is for them long term. I mean, even if they manage to get their house back, or do they really want to come back and live in an area that could catch on fire? Maybe people go do something else. Maybe people stay and just try and tough it out. It's hard to say. at this moment, but I can say that everybody here is determined to rebuild and to see it through one way or another. Because this is really a special place. If you just watch on television or if you visit, there's still part of you that kind of shits on Los Angeles. There's plenty of stereotypes that are true going around. There's the rich influencers that, do yoga and are out of touch. There are the hippies that live close to the beach. All of those stereotypes that you've seen about Los Angeles are true. They are there. But they are just a plethora of amazing people that lived here. Outside of the time that I spent at international school in Denmark, I have not met a wider variety of people until I came here to Los Angeles. As a matter of fact, one of the people that I actually went to school with in Denmark, I reconnected with in Los Angeles. We just hung out the other night, and we really want to stay connected with each other even more. And that's one of the things that I will say is that this has made me want to just stay in touch with more people. I think especially after the pandemic, we had the tendency to just want to be hermits. We had gotten so conditioned to being in our houses that we never really wanted to leave. Or maybe you did want to leave. Maybe after the pandemic was over, you were like, I'm out of here. I'm going to go outside finally. But I think there was a tendency for people to just stay inside and stay on their screens, which still exists. But I think for us here, we want to be out there and connecting with people because we never know when something terrible might happen to them. But living here has introduced me to all different kinds of people, food, and with that comes perspectives, attitudes, and it's just a different way of living. Maybe it's the sunshine that just makes you feel like everything is possible, makes you feel like if you have a dream, you can actually work to achieve it. And I know the stereotype is lots of money and wealth and status, but I think whatever that dream or possibility is, being in a place like this makes you believe that I might as well just go for it. Now, the only thing I can hope for is that that dream that the people of Los Angeles have is not extinguished as the fires are extinguished. I hope that attitude and looking at the possibilities of life only gets stronger, because situations like this do make you kind of want to give up. I've heard a lot of talk that this is like Katrina, and actually I was supposed to move to New Orleans right before Katrina happened, and it took a long time for that city to recover. There was a lot of film production there, a lot of companies were moving there, and then the hurricane hit, and then everybody just dispersed, and it took years and years and years to rebuild. I haven't been back since, but I hear they rebuilt it and it's still a wonderful place. But I don't know if some of the magic was lost, and I just hope that that doesn't happen here in Los Angeles. I'm sure as the weeks go by, we'll start to get back into more of our normal routine, as much as normalcy we can actually have at this moment. But for me personally, I am going to try to do my best to help everyone I can, reconnect with people I haven't talked to, stay connected with people who I am connected with, and just keep trying to spread a message of togetherness and fight, and just trying to do the best that we can in a situation that is terrible. In the description, you'll see the GoFundMe's up for two friends of mine who have lost their homes. If you have not contributed yet, it would mean the world to me if you could, or if you could just share their links around and see if we can help them get back on their feet. The first person is Soma Helmi. She is a director and writer. She's been doing TV for a long time. I met up with her last year, and she was really excited because her career had finally taken a turn. She had directed 2 feature films, I think, in the span of a year, and she was getting ready to direct her third. And now this has happened, and she's lost her car and her home and almost everything. The other person is Elaine Lowe. She is also a screenwriter. She's worked on Gossip Girl and Dynasty. I met her at a film festival when she had just made the switch from being an actor to doing more directing and writing, and she's just been on the upward trend ever since. She was actually in vacation in Singapore before the fires happened, and she also lost pretty much everything. And The last is not a person. It's actually Nature Friends, which is the wedding venue where I got married. It was just a wonderful place that was just tucked away in nature with trees all around. You could look up and see the sun through the trees, which there's actually one of my favorite pictures is my wife and I looking up at those trees, and the sunlight is coming in and kind of backlighting us. But the building has been burned down almost to the foundation, so they could really use your help. Anyway, help if you can, and I'll see you next week.